What up, what up? We are back. We are in the Solar, talking to Minfilia. A time for every purpose is the next quest. You got a fade to black situation here. Though recent events weigh heavily on our minds, we must needs set them aside for now. She walks around her desk to you. We are come to a defining moment in Eorzean history. The grand commemoration of our joint defense of Ishgard, the first time in 15 long years that our people have stood side by side with our neighbors to the north to fight in common cause. This may mark the true rebirth of the Eorzean alliance. Failing that, it should at the very least serve to bring our nations closer together. There's a pause. She looks kind of thoughtful. We have every reason to raise our voices in celebration, do we not? We have bested Dravanians and Ascians both. Against desperate odds we have fought and won. But the primals still plague us, and the Empire still plots our subjugation, and our triumphs, remarkable though they are, were bought at a terrible price. Brave adventurers and allies broken on the steps of faith, and before our eyes, in this very room, our dear friend Moenbryda. This is the victory we have wrought, and it is as bitter ashes in my mouth. I would sooner stay here and invite those with more appetite to enjoy the feast in my stead. Alas, it is a royal banquet, and all of our allies will be in attendance. It is our duty to present a united front, that we might serve as a beacon of hope to all. I gotta get a better hat. I'm tired of this giant black hat. I mean giant. It seems I have no choice but to take my own advice. I instructed the others to meet us in Ul'dah, that we might make our grand entrance together. Unfortunately, I had to settle for leaving Tataru and Lamin a note. If they do not return quickly, they will have to settle for whatever leftovers I can smuggle out of the fragrant chamber. Fragrant chamber. There's Rio. Off to the big soiree, Mercy. Raise a glass for me, eh? Or not. You don't look best pleased, lass. Something on your mind? You may have been like, oh, or not. And that would be the prompt for the don't look pleased booger. By the Navigator, Wilred's dead? Gods damn it. They must know they've been rumbled. Sod it. Just past time we had this talk. After our last conversation, I got to thinking about where certain funds were coming from. So I had to dig around, on the quiet like, and sure enough, I found it. Seems a fair bit of coins made its way into the Braves' coffers courtesy of a Dodo Consortium, a daft name for a business if ever I heard one, which is what first gave me an inkling that something weren't right. So I went through the ledgers again and found another half-dozen donations from organizations with stupid bloody names. Didn't take long to find the common thread. All were owned by the Mirage Trust. Oh, I'll give the bastard credit. He showed us up for the amateurs we are. Short of calling one of his businesses the bloody Bribery Consortium, I don't know what more he could have done to mock our rules on financial contributions. The gods only know how many men of the first and third are taken to Legi's coin, but now we know as some of them are. I'd wager me right eye they're the ones what did for Wilfred. The earnest young fool had taken to asking the wrong kind of questions. Bound to attract attention he was. Should have seen it at the time, but I didn't. Gods damn me. Still, I don't see what Teleji hopes to accomplish. He hit his scheme with all the care of a drunk pissing in the wind. No, he's cleverer than this, so we need to be clever too. That's the only way we'll ever repay this debt of blood. We'll purge every one of them traitorous bastards from our ranks. On that you have me word. I like you, Rio. Stay safe, bud. And Mercy, mind yourself when you're in Ul'dah, eh? We're heading into a storm. I can smell it. The kind what'll sweep a man overboard and drag him under before he knows it. we can just take the free teleport here. Go to Gridania. 120 gil to go to Ul'dah. Welcome to Jamrock. Somebody on their bard playing the song. Not for you. You can't really understand. Tear my heart. Tear my heart open. Sew myself shut. And the weaknesses. They got some weird notes in there. Like it feels like it's harmonizing, but sometimes it doesn't. Let's tear my heart open just to feel. Guess I owe my advice. Should come around. Don't you ever realize? I don't know the words perfectly, except for the chorus. Tear my heart open. Sew myself shut, and the weakness is that I care too much, and the scars remind. I'm trying to do the harmony high, and I'm realizing I don't really know the harmony that well. That's sad to me, because I like to harmonize. The scars remind us that the past is real. Tear my heart. I don't know what that next note. Tear my heart open. Maybe. Minfilia, Thancred, Ida, Papalimo, Yastola are all here. We've been waiting for you, Mercy. The celebration is due to begin shortly. I had hoped we might make our introductions together, but Mistress Momodi just sent word that you are needed at the quicksand. Okay. Next, come, but not gone. We will go on ahead, Mercy. Pray join us once matters at the quicksand are resolved. Thancred was looking around. The rest seemed kind of complacent. Give my regards to Momodi, and let her know that I will call upon her anon. Pray, please ignore my neck ministrations, as usual. So we'll take the teleport over to Adventurers Guild, which is also called the Quicksand, which is also where Momodi calls her business, I guess. I was gonna say home, but I don't know if she lives here also. I appreciate you dropping in on such a short notice, Mercy. I know you've got places to be, so I won't waste your time. You're friends with a crystal brave by the name of Alianne, aren't you? Former adventurer? Come to think of it, I'm pretty sure you recruited her yourself. Well, anyway, she came around for a meal not long ago, and before she left, she asked me to give you a message. Said if the others ended up dragging you to the feast, I was to see you got it before you made your grand entrance. Meet me at the station west of the Coffer and Coffin. There's something I must show you. A short message, I'll grant you, but she thought long and hard before picking those words. Barely touched her food, too. Under other circumstances, I'd have thought those signs of a troubled heart, but something tells me she ain't planning to ask for your thoughts on a gentleman caller. Okay. I don't know why she couldn't meet us closer. I do know why. But, off we go to Central Thanalan. I could have sprinted. I'm not a bright person. Jazzwolf. We are heading north-northwest. Over some hills we go. Text massage. Another text massage. Oh, voice call. Okay. I'm a little busy. Sorry. Okay, destination. We are waiting at a like train stop kind of area. I think this train is still in operation. You just never see it. I was like, as you stand up on the platform, your thoughts begin to wander, and all too soon, the ghosts of comrades lost and enemies slain. Busy, dude. And enemies slain begin to file by your mind's eye in solemn procession. Clearing your head, you scan the horizon, but see no sign of Alian. Time to think. Wait again, apparently. Straining your ears to listen, you hear the chatter of kikrins and the buzzing of syrphids, but no approaching footfall. Sighing, you bow your head, only to notice the vial lying at your feet. Mercy, is that you? What brings you out this way? Says Laurentius, one of the Crystal Braves. He has a big old spear. You're explaining why you came out this way. Lieutenant Alian? Why, no, I haven't seen her about. Had she come this way, I guarantee we would have crossed paths. I must have passed this spot a dozen times. We're to patrol the city's environs on account of the royal banquet. Captain's orders, you understand. Speaking of which, isn't it about to begin? You should be with the other honored guests, enjoying your well-deserved respite. Aye, pray return to Ul'dah, Mercy. If I chance to meet the lieutenant, I will tell her you were here. He watches you leave, looks around, speaks into an earpiece. You can't see this as the player, but you can see this as the... Well, you can't see this as your player character. Sorry. But you can see it as a player. We are now in Nanamo's room. She appears to be deep in thought.
Oh, Sultan Tree, hallowed spirit of my line. Through my weakness, the glorious house of Ul has all but disappeared beneath the sands. For want of the strength to raise it up again, it were better that it fall. Forgive me, but I know not what else to do.
And that was that. So we'll fly back to Ul'dah. We're to go to the Adventurers Guild, aka the Quicksand. This time I shall sprint. I just bought and downloaded Dying Light 2 today and installed it. After enjoying the first one so much, I'm happy and excited, but I don't know when's the first time I'll take some time to play it. I'll probably record it too, just bit by bit. I reckon you'd head straight for the feast after meeting with Alian. What's the matter? No appetite? Hand over the clouded vial. So she wasn't there, but this was. Eh? Let's see. Looks to me like an alchemist vial, but beyond that, I can't say. Might be best if you hold on to it for safekeeping, though. Any road, no use worrying about Alian. I'm sure she'll turn up before too long, and when she does, we'll soon find out what this was all in aid of. Besides, you've got more important things to think about. Come but not gone is complete. The parting glass is next. Would you believe that? While you were away, another message arrived for you. Well, one did. One did. One delivered by the Sultana's handmaiden, no less. It seems Her Grace desires a private audience. Her handmaiden will meet you on the royal promenade and escort you to the Sultana's chambers. So what are you waiting for? Go on then. Go. Cutscene. Nanamo's in here with her aide.
You needn't trouble yourself so. Your Grace is most kind, but it is no trouble to me, rather an honor. If your Grace is ready, I shall summon the Warrior of Light. I am.
The aide leaves the room. Nanamo looks kind of like angry eyes, almost. We see Minfilia and the gang at the banquet, the large table where all the meetings take place. Lots of people around talking, having a good time. All dressed in kind of the darker earth tones of Ul'dah. Some color here and there. Red turbans. We have Merlvib. I can't think of names right now. Roban, Alphino.
Everyone looks to be in high spirits.
I'm sure the leader of Gridania is here as well. His name I can't remember. I'm blanking on everything right now.
With good cause.
A common victory may serve to unite even the most unlikely of allies. You've brought us one step closer to a united Eorzea.
Your modesty knows no bounds, antecedent. Were it not for your efforts, Sir Emmerich would never have become such a steadfast ally. When he convinces his countrymen to rejoin the Alliance, we shall all reap the benefits, military and economic.
Oh yeah, Emmerich is here also. Probably with his lady knight somewhere. I think it might be a wood whaler in white, like normal wood whaler gear, but like from Gridania, but white instead. I think that might be with
I tell you, we are on the cusp of a new era of unity and prosperity.
Maybe with the white mage gal from Gridania. His name I still can't remember.
Territorial disputes are all that divide us now. But I have faith that we will find an amicable solution in time. And failing that, I'll have my trusty Warrior of Light box the ears of all concerned. Speaking of whom...
She will be joining us shortly. A matter at the quicksand required her attention, but it did not sound serious.
Alright. We're out of the cutscene. Let's sprint. I think we're gonna go to the promenade so we can just find the nearest telepoint, which is right here. Go to the Chamber of Rule. Around the red circle. It looks festive below. There's some big red balloons and other reddish decorations normally. Now these guards really don't like me when I run past. What business has the royal sultana have with the likes of you? Lady in waiting is outside. That kind of mousy, kind of librarian type. Thank you for coming, madam. Her Grace is most eager to speak with you. If you require a moment to compose yourself before your audience, you may have it. Or, if you are ready, it would be my honor to escort you to Her Grace's chambers forthwith. This is a long one. I'm just going to let it fly. Upon proceeding to the Sultana's bedchamber, several cutscenes will play in sequence. It is recommended that you set aside sufficient time to view these scenes in their entirety, which we are going to do. Proceed to Sultana's bedchamber. Hunger can wait. Nanamo's kind of just like looking up at a wall for some reason. Maybe trying to like clear her mind.
Enter.
Clear
Your Grace, your guest has arrived.
Clear your mind and the rest will follow. I know it's free your mind.
Pray, come in and take your ease.
She smiles when she sees you. We're back in the kind of big party room. Everybody's talking. Kane Senna, that's her name. Damn.
'Tis well that the steps of faith held against the Horde.
And what of the city proper?
We sustained some few losses, but the heart of our nation yet beats with vigor. I am not certain I could say the same had we not received your most generous aid.
An attack on Ishgard is an attack on the realm. We stand together or fall divided.
I smell garlic bread.
Such noble words after the fact.
I had hoped to speak in the presence of her grace, but it seems she has been delayed. That being the case, now would seem as good a time as any. Honored friends, pray allow me to convey Ishgard's warmest gratitude for your part in the defense of our lands. 'Tis upon the success of this very alliance that my recommendation to throw open the gates of judgment shall be founded. With the blessing of the Archbishop, it is my hope that Ishgard will soon be reunited with her long-estranged sister nations, and that Eorzea shall once more be as one.
There's some cheering. Clapping. Mostly clapping. A crystal brave comes up behind Alphino, kneels,
Very well.
speaks to him. He turns, says, "Very well." The brave walks out with...
Is aught amiss?
Nothing to worry about. I shall return anon.
Obviously with Alphino following. Minfilia cocks her head at that. Ida waves to Minfilia. Fades to black again.
You wished a word, Yu-Yu-Hase?
Yu-Yu-Hase is here with 3 other crystal braves. Yu-Yu-Hase seemed to be giving some orders. Or he's holding court for sure. He turns to look at Alphino, and the scene fades to black again. I guess we're just getting like bit by bit, moment by moment kind of things here. Nanamo is in her chamber.
You may go.
I guess you and her had a conversation? Oh,
Your
no.
Grace.
Sorry, she's letting her lady-in-waiting leave. Sorry. What a giant bottle of wine. Like, larger than normal.
You must be curious as to the reason for this private audience. The matter I would discuss, however, will soon make apparent the need for discretion. I intend to abdicate the throne and dissolve the monarchy.
You don't look shocked by that.
You have seen for yourself the storm of turmoil that howls through our streets. The government fails in its responsibilities, and my subjects suffer the consequences of our incompetence. But I will see them suffer no longer. The victory feast shall provide the stage on which I declare the dissolution of the Sultanate. 'Tis mine intent that the ruling class of our golden city should take its place beside the common man in a fair and equitable republic. No more shall this nation bow to the whims of a privileged few. Yet, that which I propose will entail the tearing up of this city's very foundations. And even Roban, with all his strength and influence, will be hard-pressed to keep his footing on such treacherous ground. Thus would I ask you to lend him a steadying hand. You who have endured the wrath of innumerable foes are the one hero in whom I can place my trust. Will you do this thing for me?
Of course I'll help, Raban.
I am truly grateful. More grateful than I can well express. Much of my dread for the coming days has been quieted.
She reaches out to take a drink from this, like, kind of gold chalice goblet kind of thing. It seems to take a pretty good swill. And then her eyes go wide in shock. The golden chalice goblet thing falls from her hands. You become very surprised now. Raban seems to get the sense in the other room and turns, his eyes darken. The goblet has fallen to the ground, clinked a little bit. You are still shocked. Nanamo clutches at her throat, tears in her eyes, reaches out to you a little bit. Eyes just full of water, falls back from her chair to the floor. The crown slips off her head. She is not moving. Adeleji comes in. Acts very shocked.
Your Grace!
Acts very shocked and surprised, and he has a bunch of guards in tow. I think the Immortal Flames. The aide, the mousy librarian type.
Her Grace, the Sultana, is dead.
Was behind the guards. Didn't seem flustered at all.
Poison in her wine? You did this!
He's talking to you. Or yelling to you. You shake your head no, obviously. Look like
Spare us your denials! I see no other suspects, and the room has but the one entrance. I hereby accuse you of regicide. Men, arrest this viper.
He looks off to the side, pleased with himself. The Immortal Flames walk up to you. You take one last look at Nanamo. The screen goes dark. See the Crystal Braves with Yu Hase and Alphino, and now there's a Crystal Brave behind Alphino, who puts a sword to his neck. And Alphino raises his hands in surrender.
Sir, barring a few exceptions, we have detained all those with allegiance to the Scions. The Rising Stones is also under our control.
Yu Hase gives a little wave to the man, and he goes off. Not the man holding the sword, but the one who just spoke. He walks out the door. There are 4 guards remaining with Alphino.
And what do you hope to achieve with this mutiny?
I guess they didn't want to have...
Why, that which we have striven for all along, Commander.
Never mind.
The salvation of Eorzea.
I thought they didn't want to pay for another voice actor for Yu Hase, but they have. Burning down the house. Everyone in the main room is still having a great time, unaware. The door's open.
What is the meaning of this?
I think the Immortal Flames have walked in. With Teleji, probably. Yep, Teleji. A couple Ishgardian guards, it seems, too.
Knights from the homeland.
Yeah.
This cannot bode well.
Lord Commander, we have received an urgent message from the Holy See. I am grieved to report that your serpentine foes have resumed their assault. Needless to say, your presence is urgently required. These knights have come to bear you swiftly home to Ishgard.
A surprise attack?
We've had no such word from our men, and the timing is most fortuitous to catch us away from the city.
Most fortuitous indeed.
Lord Commander, we must away.
You have been a most gracious host. I hope that I might one day return the favor.
The look he gave Taleji is a look of mistrust.
Come, Lucia.
And the words are also ringed with that distrust. Tinged? Ringed? I don't know. Paired? The Scions kind of look around to each other. Taleji gets another creepy look on his face. Fade to black. We are outside. Thancred is talking to a cat girl. Kind of a librarian type also, but...
Whatever is going on in there?
4 immortal flames run out. The cat girl runs away. They surround Thancred.
Ah, the ever-dutiful brass blades.
Sorry.
I must apologize, but my dance card is rather full. Another time, perhaps?
Thancred, of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. You stand accused of committing acts of espionage in service to the Garlean Empire.
Espionage? What in the seven hells are you talking about? Ah, if you're referring to that business with the Ultima weapon, then you must understand, I wasn't myself.
Under interrogation, an Imperial prisoner revealed your involvement in numerous dealings with the enemy. We've also been investigating reports that you are a practitioner of forbidden arts. You'd best come along with us.
The brass blades draw their weapons. There are 5 of them now. The one who's, talking is the 5th to join. Thancred has an arm behind his back. He's had it behind there for a while.
You invite me to your party and now you want me to leave? I do so detest receiving mixed signals.
He's got 2 daggers in his hand. He's in his hands, and he's in a fighting stance.
Come then. I believe I've lost my appetite for this farce of a celebration.
They rush at him. Screen goes white. Inside the banquet hall, people are looking worried now. It's not as many frivolities or merriment.
You go too far, Lord Adeleji. By what right do you march armed soldiers into a royal banquet and eject state visitors without her grace's consent? You treat the brass blades as your personal army and show contempt for the throne with your every act. Leave us now.
Is that an order, General? Mayhap you have mistaken me for one of your flames. You will find I am not so slavishly obedient. And you lecture me on personal armies. As for your outrageous claim that I have shown contempt for the throne, let all here observe that it was not I who feasted while an assassin removed its occupant. I expect this is your idea of defending the nation, is it? This and diluting our forces through these distractions in Cartano and Kurthis.
There were looks of shock on Kanesena, Mrovib, and Roban's faces.
I do begin to see how the ranks of the Immortal Flames came to be riddled with Garlean sympathizers. You are plainly unfit for command.
Wait, goddamn you. Your words make no sense. What assassin?
You mean to say you don't know? We caught the vaunted champion of the Scions in her grace's private chambers, not moments after the deed was done.
Now the Scions are shocked.
No! No, this cannot be!
Save your breath. You will need it to plead your case. You and your entire order are to be tried for this atrocity.
Now all the guests are looking at each other and talking. Taleji looks pleased with himself.
Bring in the prisoner!
Well, that's a mistake. You would definitely want to keep us all separate if you were smart about it, but for plot armor, I guess. Ilberd and the Crystal Braves toss you on the ground.
This woman stands accused of poisoning Her Royal Majesty Nanamu Ul'Namo and is suspected accessories to the crime. All members of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn will be detained for questioning.
This is madness!
What a pity. Who'd have thought your tale would end like this?
Should you demand further proof, a vial with traces of the substance used to poison Her Grace was found upon the assassin's person.
How very convenient.
The man who was at the train station, the Crystal Brave, who told you that he hadn't seen Eliane, you should just go back to Ul'dah.
You would speak of convenience? Who persuaded Her Grace to host this celebration? A diversion which presented you and your confederates ample opportunity to commit the crime, and a crowd within which to fade from view. A more convenient occasion I could scarcely imagine.
How dare you! After all we have done for Ul'dah!
Hold your tongue, witch! I'll not be ensorcelled! I know all about the dark gift that you and your disciples wield. Oh yes, I've observed how you worked upon the minds of the Alliance leaders, bending them to your will. And what of your cordial relationship with Sir Emmerich? For years, Ishgard abjured all contact with the outside world, and now the Lord Commander of the Temple Knights treats you with the familiarity of a childhood friend. I'll tell you what I think. I think this desperate defense of Ishgard was but a ruse to deceive us into dividing our forces. Your next move will be to charm your Kurthan allies into invading our lands. Now that is truly ridiculous.
How do you even think of this stuff?
She cannot be dead. Stand aside, Ilberd. I want to see the Sultana.
Spare yourself the pain, brother. I saw her with my own eyes. For a mercy, the poison took her swiftly. Her handmaiden can attest to that.
The handmaiden looks... She shakes her head, no.
This cannot be.
Raban falls to his knees.
Nanamu. No!
And pounds the ground with both fists and stays in that position. Ilberd walks off with the...
Plainly, the Royalists can no longer be relied upon to keep our nation safe. And so it falls to the monitorists of the Syndicate to govern Ul'dah. But should you wish to help us, General, we would be more than happy to entrust the task of planning Her Grace's funeral to you. It seems only right that you should bury your precious Sultana, and we will be glad to be rid of that burden.
Oh, bud. That was a mistake. You were small.
I'll bet you will. You more than any man.
And Raban is big. And you're very close to him.
Whatever do you mean?
I mean you had her killed, you black-hearted bastard!
Raban's eyes are very kind of scary and wide and insane.
What rot! Though I did have sufficient motive, 'tis true. That young lady caused me no end of grief. She always was a most unwilling puppet. I dare say her grace was grateful that someone thought to cut her strings.
His eyes look kind of crazy too, but not as angry, just like crazy. Raban's like lips
You
are...
would mock her, then mock her from hell!
What?
Raban's blades whip out in his arms, and he basically cuts Taleji in half. Taleji is dead now. The crowd starts to scream, panic, and run. The Crystal Braves are unsure what to do. Raban is just kind of... He gets up from his kneeling stance, has both blades in his hands still. The kind of screen is red to basically show his blood rage, anger, whatever you want to call it. His eyes are full white, no pupils.
Have you lost your mind, General? It is forbidden to draw steel in the royal chambers, much less slaughter our fellow syndicate members.
This is Lolorito. He's there too.
You're one of them. You've been in league with the Scions all along.
Raban's
You're next, you scheming bastard!
arms are trembling, and then he starts to run at Lolorito, and is about to strike him down when Ilberd blocks his blade and cuts off his left arm. At the elbow? Ish, yeah.
Oh, Raban!
7 hells!
Admiral, we must leave.
A Maelstrom soldier is telling Merlvibich it's time to go. And as the leader of her country, along with Kane Senna, they both leave because I guess this is an Ul'dah thing.
How unlike you, old friend. I did not expect to take your arm so easily.
He was enraged.
Take the Scions into custody. They have conspired to commit regicide. And arrest this traitor as well.
Now Lolorito seems to be calling the shots. The Braves and the Brass Blades surround you and the Scions and Raban.
Ilberd, I hope you choke on their coin.
'Tis better than the dirt I've supped on these long years. We can't all abandon Alamigo and become great war heroes as you have. You are not the man you once were, Raban. Since that girl strapped the yoke around your neck, you've become docile. She took the mad bull and cut off his balls, and a bull that cannot rot is fit for naught but slaughter.
Kids play this game. There's some very adult themes. And death. Murder.
Shall I tell you who really killed your precious Sultana?
He's squatting in front of Raban, he's on his knees holding his arm.
It was me.
Got an evil look in his eyes, says, "It was me, I'm sorry." Raban's lips are quivering, teeth clenched.
You
reaches for a sword.
You die!
Swings a mighty blow at Ilberd, but Ilberd dodges, parries the next blow, gets knocked back a bit, but still on his feet. Lots of clashing of swords now between the two. Raban in a frenzy. Ilberd seemingly nonchalant about dodging everything. Raban kicks a column out at Ilberd, and Ilberd slices through it. And then Ilberd uses an AoE kind of cone sword slice attack that knocks Raban back and almost hits the party of Scions, but Y'shtola holds out a hand and does a shield in front of them. Raban lands on his feet after a backflip, stows his sword.
I never doubted you, not for a moment. But there is more to this than I yet understand. Flee this place. Clear your names. Find out who is behind this plot. It is the only way. Now go!
He's telling you and the Scions to go. In case that wasn't clear. Free your mind and the rest will follow. You all flee through the main door. Ul'dah jumps and runs up along the table and like leaps with a two-handed slash at Raban, and Raban is swinging his sword around as the screen goes white and then black. Y'all are running. All the Scions except for Thancred at this point. Oh,
there you are.
And there he is.
Thancred, where have you been?
Avoiding the fumbling advances of some very persistent admirers. When I realized the celebrations had turned sour, it seemed prudent to slip away and take stock of the situation. 'Twould appear that much of the city is already under tight guard. It occurs to me that expanding the Brass Blade's authority may not have been such a wonderful idea after all.
The success of this plan was contingent upon those thugs having the run of the place. Just how long has this scheme been in motion?
They have a lot of time to stand there and ponder, being chased and all, it would seem.
The careful preparations, the maneuvering of forces. I am inclined to agree with the General's insistence that a deeper plot exists here.
So, would I be right in thinking we now have an excuse to pummel as many brass blades as we like?
Unless you plan on pummeling them all, I'm not sure that will greatly aid our cause.
The Sultana's assassination was but one part of the scheme. We too were its targets. And though we did not share poor Nanamo's fate, we are yet hobbled by the charges laid at our door. Where now might we seek refuge?
Where indeed, we may safely assume that our foe has thought to have the Rising Stones watched.
Forgive me for stating the obvious, but our choice of destination will matter little if we cannot secure an escape route out of Ul'dah. Happily, I believe I can provide one. Papashan once told me about the passages hidden in the walls of the palace. If I recall correctly, the fireplace in Nanamo's chambers conceals the entrance to a tunnel. It should lead outside the city and allow us to avoid any messy confrontations.
Here come the Blades and the Crystal Braves. The Blades and Braves. There's some more arguing among the Scions. Ida looks at her hand, closes her fist, smiles, and steps up to meet
The rest of you go on ahead. I'll handle this lot.
the approaching guards and baddies. Pulls out her hand-to-hand weapons, which are kind of like flat, kind of like oblong. If you picture a rectangle with rounded edges, kind of like that, and they're kind of curved outward from her hands. You know, she's holding them in her fist, basically, and they have kind of three rounded, kind of almost to points, but like they're basically brass knuckles, but with like I think they're called cesti in at least Final Fantasy XI. I don't know what they're called in here.
By yourself? I suppose I shall just have to join you.
Papalimo whips out his staff.
Crystal Braves too, huh? Now this should be interesting.
Ida! Papalimo!
Papalimo fires a fireball at a gate up in the ceiling, and it shuts down, blocking...
We will hold our pursuers here. Hurry, now! Find this tunnel of Thancred's.
Blocking the others from helping them. He seems to be shaking, but that could just be the animation. Three of you run off with Minfilia holding one hand up.
Minfilia, we cannot linger.
Wishing she could help. wishing she could just have them come with us. Ida and Papalymo kind of smile at each other, or smile back at Minfilia. Can't tell which direction the smiles were for, but probably back to her. And like 7 or 8 brass blades and crystal braves swarm them. We now see kind of a dark hallway. Some lamps along, very nicely decorated, very regal, very rich. And Lolorito, I believe is his name, the Lalafell, who's like the new bad guy, is walking along, and the attendant for her grace, the mousy librarian, kind of comes out of the shadows behind him. Lolorito stops, though, as if sensing her. We see slices, we see punches, we see...
Ah! Now look what you've done!
Ida has blue eyes behind that little mask she always wears that covers her eyes.
Ida, are you all right? There are just too many of them.
I'm fine. I could do this all day. How about you?
Nearing the end of my tether.
More guards, more swordsmen, more braves, more brass blades. Just replacing the ones that are downed.
This is so stupid. We're the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. The ones who stand between this realm and the evil that's trying to destroy it.
And if you think we'll leave the stewardship of Eorzea to the likes of your masters, then you're sorely mistaken.
All the swords people start to slowly advance.
Sorry I dragged you into this, Papalymo.
'Tis hardly the first time, and I'll be damned if it will be the last.
Papalymo bends down, like into a crouch kind of thing, and then holds up his staff, and it's glowing with this like kind of icy blue light. And it looks like he's given some kind of a buff to Ida. She becomes like electrified, ready to frickin' rumble.
Let them have it, Ida!
That's what it looked like. I mean, they could be two separate things. She could have been electrified, and he could have also been doing a staff thingy.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Yeah, she's just got this ball of electricity around her, and she's kind of waving her fists around, and they're doing flashy things, and like flashes of light, arcs of light. She just launches into all of them, and there's just like this explosion from her, like mega punch, kind of like Seventh Heaven from Final Fantasy VII, Tifa. And we see Ida and Papalymo kind of smiling. It flashes on each face, one in turn, and like in between these like white screen. And now we are with Thancred and the others in a passageway, a very wide, tall tunnel, as if like it could have been a train tunnel in the past, but it's like aqueducts kind of thing.
I never knew such a watercourse existed beneath Ul'dah.
The architecture is of the Sildine style, if I'm not mistaken. The ancients plainly foresaw the need for a ready means of escape.
Ystola's ears start to prick up. She's a cat girl, for obviously, if you didn't remember.
This way.
And then some guards.
Well, that didn't take long. It seems these tunnels were not as secret as I'd hoped.
You two, go on ahead. Thancred and I will deal with this.
What do you mean to do?
Only that which is required to ensure that the dawn's light survive to brighten the morrow.
First time I
Fear not, antecedent. You haven't seen the last of these fair features.
First time I saw all this, I teared up several times.
My friends.
This time is no exception. Thancred hands the lantern to Minfilia. Puts a hand on his hip.
Leave us!
Everybody's just kind of looking at each other for one last second before Y'shtola commands the leave action. And you run off with Minfilia. Keep her alive. Thancred and Y'shtola turn to the...
What is the plan, milady? Shall I take the dozen on the left and you the dozen on the right? The odds are not exactly stacked in our favor.
Numbers will count for little when I bring the tunnel down upon their heads. Though I cannot say I relish the thought of being entombed with you for all eternity.
You wound me. I will have you know that many a maid would kill for the chance to spend forever at my side. Now, may I have the last dance?
Thancred pulls out his daggers, gets in his stance. Y'shtola's eyes flash. Her arms move out in this kind of wave pattern around her body. She keeps whispering something while this ball of light forms between her hands. Thancred runs forward and does like his usual blocking with daggers, slashing, spinning, kicking, flipping, sliding, slashing, stabbing. Y'shtola's still working on her spell. Thancred gets hit by an arrow in the leg. Throws one of his daggers to basically knock out the light in this tunnel.
This is going splendidly. Now would be a good time, milady.
'Tis done.
The light gets brighter in her hands. Just radiant. And then she lifts it above her head and it just explodes into much more large, much bigger sphere, radiant white light. Kind of swirls of white.
Forgive me, Mitra.
White light all around it. Getting bigger and bigger. I don't know who Mitra is. Thancred gets a smile on his face, though.
Farewell, Minfilia.
Says goodbye. Oh, I guess Mitra is Minfilia also, maybe? And the screen goes white. No clue what happened with that light ball that she was doing, but in theory she was bringing down the ceiling. The screen rumbles as...
Hydaelyn, she speaks to me.
As you're running away, and that is the kind of clue that maybe the ceiling fell. And then this beam of white light, or like a white kind of light ball that has a tail of light behind it, kind of flashed past us.
No.
Minfilia looks like she's just talking into nothingness, but...
I must remain behind, but you cannot stay with me. Please, you must go on. You are the warrior of light. You are hope for the Scions and for all the realm. As long as your flame continues to burn, the light of the dawn may ever be relit.
I have people in my free company that say that this entire storyline of, like, you know, the Realm Reborn storyline is kind of boring or not great, but I disagree.
You must escape and save Eorzea from those who would plunge it into darkness. Tis the only way.
Minfilia runs off back toward Thancred and Y'shtola, leaving you behind, and you follow her orders and keep running. You're outside now. It kind of looks like the tunnel is like broken into a wall, but like, we've been here before. Not for the tunnel reason, but for like scoping out some ether site or something. I don't remember what it was. It was long ago. There were demons. Or little demon things I think we had to kill. Now you're back just out in kind of Phanelin. And here comes Alphino and a Lalafell with kind of a horned, like a curved...
I am glad to see you safe, my friend. What of the others?
The Lalafell has a curved horned helmet. You shake your head.
Damn that man! Adeleggi played me for a fool. I thought the Crystal Brave's mine till the very moment I felt the blade at my back.
Neck, technically.
There will be ample time for soul-searching later. For now, we must put some arms between us and Ul'dah.
That's the Lalafell, who I don't know who this is, but seems cool. It's got some great gear. Love the helmet. Love the aesthetic. A cart being pulled by chocobos comes up with the man in the back of it that we saw at the very beginning of the game.
Well, would you look who it is? Need a ride? I doubt it'll be half as exciting as the last trip we took. Not if I have anything to say about it anyway.
Bremont, I believe his name is, it said. We kind of flash over to a bridge. There's a lot of...
Let's not dawdle, eh? All aboard!
Brass blades and crystal braves that are running as if looking for you, Alphino, etc. Yeah, you can see them across the way on a bridge. There's another dude who's like driving the cart. And the blimp-borne cart is off. Like I said, it doesn't have wheels. It's being held aloft off the ground just a bit by the blimp, basically the balloons. And look back at Eorzea. There's torches being held by people running all around searching. We flash upon a few scenes of the cart traveling on.
I was stocking up on supplies over in Vesper Bay, you see, when your sister come up and begged a favour. Said her brother was having some trouble down in Ul'dah and likely needed a helping hand getting away. Thinking them ruins would make a fine hiding place, I decided to try there first. And lo and behold, there you were. Aye, and judging by them soldiers as were pouring out of the city, I arrived not a moment too soon. Ha! Must have been fate that we happened to find you there, though, eh?
I had thought to look out for Alize, but 'twould appear she was the one watching over me. I've made such a mess of things.
And who might you be, young sir?
Now we get to talk to the Lalafell man. Takes off the helmet. Got like kind of flowing white hair.
Pippin Taropin, Vice Marshal of the Immortal Flames.
Do I remember a Pippin from the Immortal Flames? I don't know. I don't think so.
I had been on the Alamegan front these past few moons, but an urgent communication called me back to Ul'dah.
I guess that's why I've never really known who he was.
Scarce had my boots touched the cobbles, though, when the streets erupted with cries of assassination. I immediately went in search of answers, and came across Master Alphino here. Needless to say, I did not think his imprisonment justified. The blame plainly lies with the Monitarists. Their greed and corruption are well known to me, but for them to take advantage of the situation with such alacrity...
Was that Pippin, you said? Ain't that the name of General Aldin's lad?
Aldin. Do I know Aldin? Aldin?
Yes, I am his son. Adopted, of course. 'Twas only as we were leaving Ul'dah that I learned of father's fate.
General Aldin.
Once I have seen you a safe distance away, I mean to return to the city and extricate him from this madness.
Might be the only time we
And
see
you
Pippin.
needn't travel no further than Blackbrush. Our fugitives have a friend waiting for them there.
I dreamed of bringing about Eorzea's salvation, but in the end, 'Twas I who needed saving.
I don't know, I think the Crystal Braves did a fair amount of good before they were bought. Some good, at least. I mean, them soldiers will keep searching for a while yet. Reckon we'll take the carriage back towards Ul'dah, get the lay of the land. Maybe provide a distraction if need be. You three wait here. Help will be along shortly. Stay strong, friends. The real fight's to come. Alright, let's go. Why they didn't choose to do just a few more lines. Make me do it. Your butts. Alright, we are back in Central Thanalan. Talk to Pippin here. Another cutscene. The most unassuming folk can prove to be our greatest allies. That fellow was but a passing merchant, yet he lent us aid without a moment's hesitation, or any hint of concern for his own safety. Though I can well imagine how a man could feel inspired to risk all in your presence. Are you flirting? Father spoke often of you, Mercy, and long have I looked forward to our first meeting. Needless to say, this is not at all how I envisioned it. Smiles, turns to Alphino. Master Alphino, you must not give in to despair. That would only play into our enemy's hands. So long as you and Mercy are free, we may well set things right. Forgive me, Master Tarpin, but Alphino, my boy, sorry to keep you waiting. Says Sid coming running. Forgot all about him. Sid, what are you doing here? Pulling you out of the fire as usual. Your merchant friend told me everything. Truly, then he is no merchant but an angel in peddler's clothing. But tell us, how do you intend to bear our friends to safety? I hid the Enterprise but a short distance away. All I need is a destination. We must find a place beyond the reach of both the Monitarists and the Crystal Braves. Crystal Braves? Korthus. Ishgard will not suffer the intrusion of foreign forces in their territory. That settles it. With me, everyone. Not I fear. I must remain here. I dare not abandon Ul'dah to the Monitarists and their cronies. You may be certain that they will seek to defame you, both here and in the other city-states, but know that I shall do my utmost to thwart their every effort. Frankly, I do not expect it to be much of a challenge. The small folk will not turn so easily on the Warrior of Light and her allies, no matter what the Monitarists claim. Master Tarpin, I know not what to say. Ha! Now that Father would labor to believe. But enough talk. You must go, Master Alphino. Your airship awaits. We flash over. Cutscene kind of changes over to the airship. Up, up. There's no rest for the righteous, says Sid. The airship starts to rise. Takes off into the fog, into the clouds. Pippin salutes it as it goes. Watches it off. And we are in Korthus. Fires burn, little campfires outside of those little kind of bunkers along the way, along the paths. The airship just kind of lands in an open, snowy kind of field on one of the pathways, kind of the main pathway. Sid watches the two of you get off, you and Alphino. You nod to Sid. Sid nods back. And takes off again. Now the question is, where are Sid, Wedge, and Biggs holed up doing all their machinations if Revenant's Toll and the Waking Sands... Wait, no, yeah, no, not Waking Sands. Is the Waking Sands not the old one? Not the I can't remember what it's called. We should make for Camp Dragonhead and speak with Lord Horchefant. Mayhap he will know what to do. Send me forth to kill things. We will be fine. Okay, almost done. Longest video I've probably ever made, except for like my D&D videos, which I can't even post because at least one of the members wants to keep them private. So respect those wishes. At Camp Dragonhead, we have Lord Horchefont inside that kind of main rectangular kind of castle-ish shaped building. Master Alphino told me a tale, Mercy. It warms my heart that you should turn to me before all others, and I shall endeavor to deserve your trust. Alas, the situation here has grown more complicated in your absence. It would be best if I explained in full. The parting glass is now complete. That is the end of this video. I need some food. See you later.